Hello everyone, TFCom here with a different route than I usually take. This video will be solely about my pets and in general rats. Many people have a bad stigma about them, and I want to share out there that rats are a perfect first-time pet for many children. In fact, they're extremely well behaved, but active enough that they can still play. So I'm going to be telling you some facts about rats while making this video. And in doing so, I will be taking them out for you all to see. Okay, see who we got first. Who wants to come out? Okay. Come here. Okay. So this one here is Cupcake. Rats are very fond of walking all over humans, especially their shoulders. She doesn't care what you do with her. She won't bite. This one is about 2 years old. They typically live about 2 to 3 years, so she's pretty old. I've had her since she was little. You see, she really doesn't care what you do to her. She is extremely kind. As she sneezes, that is actually a rat version of saying I love you. It's their little pet thing. They do not have allergies. They are just in love with you, which is great. They really do love the necks and climbing all over you like a little jungle gym. Rats also are very fond of ferret toys due to their size. They love little ferret hammocks and beds and such. And I can actually show you those in my cage right now. Very little hammocks and little ratties and such and wheels. Now, I have had neighborhood kids complain because rats have some claws and it hurts them. Not all rats have very strong claws. Some have itty bitty ones, some have long ones, but never try to cut your rat's claws. As you can probably see, well, maybe. Oh, look at her face. Rats have extremely tiny paws, and it is very difficult to cut claws without cutting off a toe of your rat, or extremely hurting them. Never attempt this. Now, another thing to know about rats is sometimes they make a little clicking noise. Cupcake does not do this. It depends on which rat you have. Some do, some don't. And that is essentially their version of purring. Whoa. Huh. Cat doing something stupid. Okay. Yes, most rats do not put them near cats. My cat absolutely loves them, and they're best friends. You know, he doesn't try to eat them or anything. Where are you going? Yeah. Don't attempt some of these moves I'm doing with my rat, especially if your rat's new. They have to warm up to you. Rats will be typically pretty timid for the first week or so until they warm up to you. But take them out every day, even if it's just huddling them in your hands. What? Okay. Yeah, she prefers the shoulder. Most of them do. And as you probably noticed, their tail, very long, and looks kind of scaly. Come here. What are you doing? They're very adventurous little ones. Some people like to say they're a mix of a dog and a cat, because they always lick themselves clean and give little kisses. Yeah. And they just love to be played with and explore. Now their tails are very strong, but do not close them in the cage by accident. It very much hurts them, and of course it is an accident, but they're strong enough that you can pick them up by their tail. They don't like it very much, but you can do it if they start wandering off, and it does not hurt them at all. What are you doing? Now, Cupcake here is a pretty basic rat. She is from PetSmart. Just a typical, she's known as a fancy rat. Hi. They have a typical size ear and typical body. She is a medium, which means it's as big as she's going to get. There are some larges who can grow about that big, but she will not get that big. Typically, mediums are the most common. You can get a small, which is about half that size, but I would recommend a medium, especially for your first pet. You won't lose them, and they're not too big, you don't have to worry about it. I have never had them bite me, and I have never had them bite anyone in my family, even though we have a bunch of little kids who are hanging them upside down and running off of them and being not good owners. They've never bit them. Even when a cat would have bit them, they would have not. They're extremely good for a first-time pet. Most people are very afraid of rats. They're pretty they're pretty easy to take care of. Okay, so now I'll talk to you about the features of the cage. Come on up. Okay. So, the cage features water bottle, of course, is always needed for a cage. I have some fancy looking things, you do not need that. You need therapy when it will do. As you see, mine do not have wires, because they love to climb on the edges. Many do not like wheels, so I will not keep one unless your rat comes and they enjoy it. This paper bedding is my suggestion to anyone, doesn't matter what color you get it in, but this is much better for them. Honestly, there's studies back and forth of whether it's better or not, but notice that the hairless rats, if you ever get one of those, they are extremely allergic to the cedar bedding, so do not get that. And then basic food dish, they love to cover up their food. I'm sure you can tell that, it's right there. They are very strange about that, and they love to take around and play in their cage. Now, a rat's diet is a very important issue as well. Let me get one of them out right now. Okay. Come here. Okay. I got my hairless Mavis. She currently has a mammary tumor, so she's not looking quite as cute as one usually would, but that's perfectly fine. She is about 2 years old as well, and a lot more timid from the camera, but she loves me holding her. Sometimes they'll do that. They just like you, and that's fine too. Now, rats can pretty much eat anything, but be careful with that. There is specified rat food. It's usually rat/mouse food is what they're called. Never, ever, ever, ever get hamster food. It's extremely bad for them. It gets them very, very sick, and you do not want to have that with your poor little babies. Now, the brand I use is just the cheap one, PetSmart, just mouse and rat. I do the one with all the seeds in it, which you can do, or there are ones where there are essentially a pellet shape, which work as well. I just think this is probably better looking for them. They can eat essentially anything. I keep goldfish and a bunch of fruits around for them. They do love those. Keep in mind, do not feed them too much. Goldfish and crackers and stuff. While they'll eat them, it's not very good for their stomach. She's clicking in my ear. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Come here. Come say hi to the people. This is my little one. She's a little hairless. I had to get her from a breeder. She was the type of rat I've been wanting for years. I could not find one in any pet store, so had to go to a specialty breeder. She's cute. This is Misha. Named her Misha Collins, because now she does behave pretty normally, but originally she only walked backwards and always made these weird squeaking noises, which I now know is purring. I did not know that at the time, so she was just a very, very strange baby. You want to get back on my shoulder? She doesn't move around much. That's always a big thing. You get a personality for your rat. Some are very active, some are not. You can always find one that works best with your child or yourself if you're looking for a first-time pet. And they're great if you've had millions of pets too. I mean, don't get me on that. They do require a cage changing every once in a while. Okay. Now this little guy is named Java because she's full of energy and the perfect color. As you can see, this is a baby rat, probably about a few weeks old. Come here. She is not trained yet, as you can see, but she still does not wander off. She likes to stay on her owner. Hi. And rats, they can typically be trained to do a lot of things, or you could just have them sit on your shoulder. That's fine with anyone. Here, come here. Come here, don't be sitting there. These little guys, you see, they're very, very tiny originally. Look like little mice. What are you doing? And rats, as you can see, come in many different colors and sizes. I think she wants back in the cage. She's not used to being held as much, but you get a few minutes each day to get them used to it. Okay. Back in your little cage. And one second. One ratty at a time. They all went out. No. Get back in there. Yes. Rats are insanely smart and will learn easily how to get what they want to get back in there. Now, there's a reason rats are usually used for testing. They are insanely smart. They can do many things. This one is actually pretty good at tricks. Come here. She'll climb down my arm into my hand, or I will flip and bring her back up. She absolutely loves this. I'm not quite sure why. But you know, rats love what they love. They're quirky, just like humans and any other animal. Now, for cleaning, it's a typical, get your little scoop out the poop. I would recommend once a week, but it really depends on how many you have. And a good, important thing is to always get at least 2. Because rats are very, very social creatures, and you can't play with them every minute of the day. They also love to curl up and sleep together, which you would not be able to do. Now, important thing with rats is to always wash your hands before and after playing with them. Because there are many diseases that humans have that won't get us sick, you know, just little bacteria, but will get our poor rat friends very sick, and vice versa. Hi! And if you have any piercings or earrings, be careful with that. They do love pulling on them. Oh, that's her best friend. My rats love my cat, though my cat isn't exactly a normal stereotype, so I wouldn't recommend introducing them just yet. Maybe once they're bigger like this. They're still small, it's a little iffy. He just wants to be center of attention. What are you doing? Dante? Okay, so this is typically how big they'll get. They're not very big at all. Males do get a little bigger, but females, of course, do not get very large. They're very, very cheap. At Petco, they are about, I want to say, $9.99. Very, very cheap. And I don't know about PetSmart. Usually PetSmart only carries males, and Petco only carries females. So that's an important thing to keep about. Every once in a while, there's a weird instance. Most breeders will sell you one for about $20, which is pretty expensive. But they sell the rare ones, like the hairless. Hi. So it's all your choice. An important thing to remember: buying from a pet store, they are usually sick. Unfortunately, that is just how they were treated in pet stores. And now the sun went off. Okay. If you are buying from a breeder, sometimes they're overbred and very ill, have a lot of illnesses, things like that, which is not good either. And you can always buy from Craigslist, which is where I've gotten a few pets from. None of my rats, though. And then the thing to think about there, they could be completely lying. It may be a large rat, and they say it's small, or whatever. So it's very important to know where you get them from. There's challenges wherever you get them from. Good thing usually about Craigslist is usually the rats are already trained and very friendly with people. That's not always the case, but usually. And I'm sure there's an equivalent in whatever your country is. Pet stores are cheap and easy to get to. She's giving me lots of kisses. She loves being held. So that's the thing. Breeders, more expensive. but usually they're gorgeous animals because they take good care of them to make them look good for selling in shows and such. Hi. Which is unfortunate, but also a true factor. Rats are insanely smart, as I mentioned, so they do have a lot of competitions and such. Now, who wants to see the fun part? How to feed your rats. Treats, of course. The regular food just put in a bowl and they'll eat it themselves. Now, treats are a very important thing. Every rat is different, but most rats absolutely love lettuce, tomatoes, carrots, and sometimes apples and cucumber. They may fight over them, so be careful there, but usually they're fine with it. Okay, she's here in the treats. Now, remember, as I said, do not feed them too much because they will get sick. They love Yogis, which is a brand. You can get other brands of that. They're basically yogurt-covered rat treats. They love yogurt. No idea really why, but they do. Now, I am going to be feeding them in this video my goldfish, because it is their favorite. Now let's see if they treats and such. Typically, I put one through the bar, and I grab it. Here, this one doesn't move out as much as you can see. She's very sedentary. But usually, one of the other rats will bring her treats, or as you see, they're scattering around, or the others two have at one point in time. Okay. You can see the one in the corner. Well, I'll move the camera for you. They hold it with both hands, and they nibble on it in a very adorable fashion. The others want one. Okay. Now, rats are very, very, very friendly, but like any animal, they don't want their food being taken from them. I have not had any issues with them biting me. Some people may have, though. I'm willing to believe that does happen. Oh, what's on my screen or something? I'm glowing. Okay, whatever. Now, another important thing to think about is make sure your vegetables are cut up. They cannot simply be grabbing them. While they can chew them, they are similar to chipmunks and they'll try to fit the whole thing in their mouth, and they cannot do that with big things. So I always cut them up like you would for a child, or maybe a salad. Cut it up like a salad. Maybe even a little smaller than that. Lettuce, you usually don't have to cut up since it can fold up, but carrots and tomatoes and things like that, I definitely would say cut up. Now, there are different kinds of rats, as I was mentioning, and all of them currently here are known as just fancy rats, except for my hairless. Come on out. She's being very sleepy right now. Come here. They are nocturnal animals, so I'll try to wait as late as I can, but they are still, it's about morning for them. They're waking up, they're kind of drowsy. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Okay. You see by her face here, she has very, very large ears. These rats are known as Dumbos. They do not get any bigger than other rats, contrary to popular belief. The only thing different about them is that they have larger ears. Now, and this does not mean any wild rat you see you need to pick up and go pet them. Okay, but rats are amazing with children. In fact, the neighborhood children come by my house daily, and they are 5 and 8, and they love to hold them and feed them treats, and and they just love the rats. They're so happy I come home. They're like, oh my gosh, the rats. He's home, let's go play with the rats. which is a little funny. But, you know, there's dogs everywhere, but no, they want the rats. They're very, very cute, and it's an easy way to get an exotic pet. The thing to be careful of is some apartments and rented homes will not allow you to have rodents at all. And some, even if they allow rodents, they will not allow rats, because some people consider them exotics. While they're not the usual pet, I would not consider them exotic, because you can get them in like pet stores, you know. Exotics I'd consider something that's very hard to get, like chinchilla or ferret, which ferrets are getting easier to get down too. But that is the rule in many places. My old place did not allow them. This new one does. It's all a matter of asking and re-asking, because so many people don't want to mention rats. They're like, you know, you mention you have rats, and they're like, but they'll get out and they'll get in other people's houses, and they won't. They won't. These are very, very different than wild rats. In fact, these rats, one thing to be used to is they sometimes nibble on your fingers. Some of them do. Not all of them do, of course. And it does not hurt at all. The worst thing that could happen is they may scrape your nail polish, which be careful about that, because it could be poisonous to them. But usually they lick your fingers, and they love to lick your fingers. They're very much like dogs in that matter. They love being pet and held and cuddled with, and they just love attention in general. They are very attentive animals, but they can also be on their own very well. You want it in the video? Say hi. Okay, go play. He's trying to figure out what's going on. The reason I made this video is some people hear rats and think gross, disgusting creatures, you know, and horrible, horrible creatures. They're not bad. They don't carry diseases or anything like that. In fact, they're safer than most cats and most dogs. They do less property damage. They do make a mess because they burrow, as you can probably see all over. But that's as simple as vacuuming. They are very, very, very friendly. I would definitely recommend them as a first-time pet. If your kid is under the age of 8, I would watch when they're holding the pet, just to be careful that they do not hurt the pet. The pet will not hurt them. And honestly, I believe they are amazing, amazing animals. And I know this is definitely a break from my usual lessons, but I believe it's needed to be said, with the typical stigma going around about the awful, awful rats. So, if you are ever interested, or I would just love for you guys to just send me pictures of your cute rats. I actually have a Twitter now, as of yesterday. My Twitter name is Elijah McKenzie, ElijahMcKenzie, or you can just search at TF capital C, lowercase o, capital M. Capital T, capital F, capital C, lowercase o, capital M. TFCom. It is the abbreviation, not the full name. And I would love for you guys to follow me on there. I will post updates there all the time, probably more likely than my actual videos. But I will do at least one video a day. That is guaranteed. So I really hope you guys liked my little ratties. And any questions you have about rats at all, or even just want to tell me your names and pictures or anything, I'm fine with that. Well, look, I'm going to go upload this video, so TFCom, signing off. Bye.